Hello brothers and sisters, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you all have had a fun and safe New Year's Eve, because it is now time to give one last wave goodbye to the previous year by counting down my favorite songs of 2019. This is the year-end video that I've been looking forward to making the most over this past year. It's fun to tear into bad songs, and viewer statistics will probably show that it makes for more entertaining viewing, but these songs, they all meant something to me, and I genuinely love every single song that is on this list, and I am very excited to talk about them with you here. Now, I said in the intro to my worst list that the last probably half-decade or so of pop music seems to have been operating at like a 3.6 Röntgen.
3.6. Not great, not terrible.
2016 through 2018 has felt like a barren wasteland of quality, where good artists started making bad music and the good songs weren't as good. Which is why I am happy that 2019 brought around a much-needed infusion of new and fresh talent with a wide variety of sounds. And even though we're still not out of the woods with all the mediocrity that permeates pop music right now, this year was a huge breath of fresh air. There were a lot more good songs this year, and the good songs were a lot better than the good songs of the past couple of years, which is why I am very excited to give to you
I got one thing right,
the top 10 best hit songs of 2019. Number 10. Now, I alluded to this in my worst list, but country music has really been going through an identity crisis over the past few years. The entire fad of bro country seems to have died off, but no one in the genre seemed to know what to replace it with. Most of the more promising artists of the genre, like Maren Morris and Kane Brown, all seem to have jumped ship to collaborate with EDM artists of all things, in what I can only assume is a fallback plan for when country music falls out of relevance entirely. And Dan and Shay are a perfect example of country music's identity crisis, because while they're technically listed as country artists, their sound is just barely recognizable as country.
When I taste tequila, baby, I still see you cutting up the Florida sorority t-shirt, the same one you wore when we were.
I haven't decided yet how I feel about these guys, whether I like them or I don't, but they knocked it out of the park with this song. Tequila is a song that took me a while to warm up to, but the more I listened to it, the more I really started to feel like I got it and could appreciate it for what it is. It's a song about missing an old flame, presumably from college, but instead of focusing on the negatives and why that relationship ended, it chooses instead to focus on the fond memories that they shared and the desire to have them back. And I love the way it uses tequila, generally considered a party drink, as the catalyst for this song. The tequila is what's triggering the memories here, and since alcohol is usually portrayed as something that gets rid of memories, I thought it was a clever subversion to portray it as the opposite in this case. And as a recent graduate of college myself, I am an absolute sucker for nostalgia-fueled slow jams like this.
Sky high in Colorado, lips pressed against the bottle, spinning on a Bible, baby, I never leave you.
Like I said, I'm still on the fence on whether or not I like Dan and Shay as an act. Their biggest song this year, Speechless, kind of wore out on me pretty quickly. But I give them full credit for making a really good quality song here. And if this is the kind of music that they're going to continue making in the future, then I'll be more than happy to keep them around. Good stuff. Number 9. We now jump from a smart, therapeutic walk down memory lane to an absolutely brainless and upbeat appreciation of the female form in all its glory.
Look what God gave her, how perfect He made her. She walks in the room, it's like He answered my prayers. The way that she moves.
I had a good time with this song, even if it is at its core just a song about leering at women. But this song is actually kind of sweet. I mean, Thomas Rhett seems to be seriously in awe of just how beautiful this woman is, which there isn't anything intrinsically wrong with. There are no overt sexual connotations to his attraction to this woman. In fact, this song pretty pointedly gives almost no description of this woman's physical appearance at all and chooses to play it intentionally vague, which I think was a smart decision, because it leaves a lot of room for interpretation.
Got that look in her eyes, swear she fell right out the sky. Yeah, I think
I mean, this song could just be about a hot woman that Thomas Rhett saw in a bar and wants to have sex with. And given his previous track record in the genre he belongs to, that wouldn't exactly be a stretch to assume such a thing. But I choose to give it a little more credit than that. And it helps too that this song is just amazingly catchy and totally easy to jam to.
Look what God gave her, how perfect He made her. She walks in the room, it's like He answered my prayers. The way that she moves, how could anybody blame her? I know
I love this song.
but it ain't her fault, no. Look what God gave her.
Thomas Rhett has really impressed me over the past several years. He had an amazing song last year that just ripped out your heart with how sad it was. And he completely reversed course and put out this masterpiece this year. Look what God gave her, and look what God gave Thomas Rhett.
Look what God gave her. I got you.
Number 8. Speaking of God,
You say I'm loved when I can't feel a thing. You say I'm strong.
it's not very often that you have a straight up worship song on the Billboard year-end list, so when I saw this song on that list, I just had to put it on here. This is Lauren Daigle. She's generated a lot of controversy over the past year for some of her more progressive views of Christianity, which, spoiler alert, aren't really that progressive at all, but still progressive enough that it pissed off the crazy conservative Christian community. She appeared on Ellen one time and people didn't like that.
Still Rolling Stones, please welcome Lauren Daigle.
She refused to state categorically that homosexuality was a sin, which is a big no-no for a public Christian figure these days. But through all the controversy and the pressure from different Christian groups mounting, Lauren Daigle rose up the charts with a song that places her worth only in how God views her and not anyone else.
In you I find my worth, in you I find my identity.
I don't think this song was written this way on purpose, but I choose to see this song as an act of defiance to anyone who thinks that Lauren should act a certain way to be seen as a good Christian. She is what God made her to be, and when people say she's one thing, God says she's something else. And the only truth in this world is God. What I think is particularly great about this song is how it's kind of a best of both worlds scenario. It's a strong statement of empowerment for herself and other Christians, while keeping the focus where it should be, which is the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
And I believe, what you say of me.
And of all the ridiculous controversy that Lauren Daigle has found herself embroiled in through most of the year, I'm personally pretty glad that this is the song that got big for her. And I think it's a great representation of Christianity to a pop audience.
You say I'm loved when I can't feel a thing. You say I'm strong when I think I'm weak.
God says we're loved when we feel unlovable, and God says we are strong when we feel weak. And that is the truth, and there is no greater truth out there than God. Number 7.
I know you love her, but it's over, mate. It doesn't matter, put the phone away.
Yeah, buckle up guys, cause here's another one that's gonna put you through the emotional ringer. This song is a bit similar to the Dan and Shay track, but unlike Tequila, this song is pretty explicitly about a breakup. But again, it's not a song that trashes the ex or that is mean-spirited in any way. Instead, it goes the route of self-pitying, which we've all been there, am I right?
But it's not the fact that you kissed him yesterday. It's the feeling of betrayal that I just can't seem to shake, and everything.
Alright, so there are a couple shots taken at the ex-girlfriend here, but I don't think it's unnecessary. In fact, I think it's just a natural stage of the breakup. I mean, the premise of this song seems to be that she's moved on from him before she's moved on from her, and that's a hard pill to swallow in a breakup, and if you're not ready to move on, then yeah, I totally get having negative feelings towards that. But it's not what drives this song either, and the message this song is trying to get across is the fact that those negative feelings go away and you just have to work through them.
Nothing heals the past like time.
And it's okay to feel those feelings, but it's also important to work through it and eventually accept the fact that it's over and move on. Like I said, real cheery stuff, right? It's fantastically written though, and it really cuts deep. You feel every single feeling that the singer is feeling here.
It's gonna hurt for a bit of time. So bottoms up, let's forget tonight.
It's really good. I don't even know what else to say about it, but I don't think I could just listen to it casually. I really need to be in a mood to get up in my feels before I pop this track on.
And it'll be alright. I got you.
Number 6.
One thing right.
Gonna do the two-step, then cowboy boogie. Grab a sweetheart and spin out with him. Do the hold down and get into it.
Usually songs that go viral off Vine or TikTok are just terrible, but not this one. At its surface, the Get Up is a standard dance rap song, but it sets itself apart by incorporating a country twang into a catchy hip-hop beat, basically completely jumping on the bandwagon of country hip-hop that Lil Nas X popularized this year. But this isn't just a straight rip-off of Old Town Road. This is a fun, lighthearted, yee-hawing good time that's fun for the entire family.
Take it to the left now and dip with it. Don't throw down, take a sip with it and lean back. Put your
And what I love most about this song is that it knows what it is. It doesn't try to be anything more than just a simple, fun dance track. It actually gives you adequate instructions on how to dance to it. I mean, what a concept, right? A dance song that actually tells you how to do the dance that you're supposed to be doing. If I had to levy a criticism against this song, I would have liked Blanco Brown to sound a little more enthused in his performance. His delivery, for the most part, is pretty flat and monotone. However, I listened to his follow-up single that he released about a month ago, and it sounds like that's probably just the artist he is, so I'm willing to let that go. At the end of the day, this is just a perfect dance track. The catchy melodies, the instructional lyrics make it very easy to dance to, and I just have a blast listening to it every time it comes on. Although it is kind of puzzling as to why this song gets radio play. I mean, most of the time people who listen to radio are in their cars, and, well,
take it to the left now and dip with it. Don't throw down.
I can't stress this enough, Blanco Brown. If I try to take it to the left now and dip with it while I'm driving, I'll be taking it to the left off the Skyway and dipping my car with it into the Lake Erie. I mean, hey, there are worse ways to go, am I right? Number 5. Popularity, and I never got tired of it once. I love this song. I will say, however, that Grab a Cop Gun Kind of Crazy is probably my single favorite lyric of 2019. But what really puts this song over the top for me is the performance of Ava Max herself. This woman started the year out as an absolute nobody, but she just exploded her personality all over this track, and her mic presence is impeccable. And I will say that the whole Psycho character doesn't exactly come through in her performance. But I would say also, one, I don't think she's singing as the crazy person. She's more the third-person narrator describing the crazy person that she's singing about. And number 2, the last song about going psycho was this.
Damn, I ain't be going psycho. Lil' mama bad like Michael.
I would take this any day.
At night she's screaming, I'm on my mind.
I got you.
Number 4.
One thing right. How do you sleep when you lie to me? All that shame and all that danger. I'm hoping that my love will keep you up tonight.
And while you're at it, you may as well throw number 3 on there as well.
Look what you made me do. I'm with somebody new. Ooh, baby, baby, I'm dancing with a stranger.
Sam Smith opened my eyes in a huge way this year. At first I thought he was just an exceptionally talented singer, but without any kind of personality or mic presence that could keep my interest for the length of an entire song. It was always very bland to me. That is until I heard Dancing with a Stranger featuring Normandi.
Leaving, going out tonight. But boy, I need to get you off of my mind.
I don't even know where to start with this track, from the smooth, airy, and classic-sounding R&B beat to Sam Smith's singing voice, which perfectly complements the overall mood of this song, and the compelling guest vocal. It all mixes together into this perfect storm of music.
Can you fight the fire? I need somebody who can take control.
Sam Smith really seems to have refined his singing talents on this song. It plays to his own strengths as a singer, but he still feels more reserved and understated than he has on any of his previous works. And the provocative instrumental, coupled with Sam Smith's vocals, really do a great job at capturing both the fun and the sadness of going out to hook up with a stranger at a bar just to get over an ex.
Look what you made me do. I was somebody new.
And I really liked Normandy's inclusion on this song, basically singing the same verse that Sam does but from a female perspective. It brings the song full circle, and when the two of them are singing and harmonizing on the final chorus, it is brilliant.
Look what you made me do. I was somebody new.
It's just a well-composed, well-thought-out piece of music that plays to all of Sam Smith's strengths as a singer. And I have to give it up to Sam Smith, because I don't believe any other singer would have been able to pull this off like he does on this track. Which brings me to How Do You Sleep? This one came out after Dancing with a Stranger, and it proved to me that Dancing with a Stranger was no fluke. This was the new and improved Sam Smith, and that was not to be mistaken. And what I love about this song is the angle he takes at the concept. This is a breakup song, but unlike the previous breakup songs on this list, this is meant to cut deep at its subject.
How do you sleep when you lie to me? All that shame and all that danger. I'm hoping that my love will keep you up tonight.
How do you sleep at night after what you did to me? I hope you're kept awake at night thinking about how you betrayed me. It's so wonderfully vindictive that I can't help but admire it. But the thing that puts this song over the top for me is that chorus, followed by that drop.
Tell me, how do you... Love will keep you up tonight.
I wrote Sam Smith off for years as just a boring artist with a limited range, but he took great strides into becoming the performer that everyone was insisting to me that he already was. And by releasing not one, but two excellent tracks that I really loved. Congratulations, Sam Smith. You're officially into my good graces, and I'm officially looking forward to what you do next.
My love will keep you up tonight. Tell me, how do you... I got you.
Number 2. Now, as I've said previously on this list, I'm a sucker for some good nostalgia in a song these days. As a recent college graduate, a lot has changed in my life recently, and I have often found myself reflecting back on times where life didn't used to be this complicated. And as I go through the process of becoming a full-on adult, no song this year has done a better job at bringing me back to the good old days than Walk Me Home by Pink.
Walk me home in the dead of night. I can't be alone with all that's on my mind.
This year was full of surprises, between Sam Smith blowing me away like he did, to Pink coming out and showing that she still has it after years of basically reproducing the same song to see if we would notice. This song immediately grabs my attention with the first two lines.
There's something in the way you roll your eyes. Takes me back to a better time.
And it just knocks my socks off with that hook.
Walk me home in the dead of night. I can't be alone with all that's on my mind.
The power that she sings that chorus with and the explosion of the instrumentals, it really feels like an arrival. It is anthemic. It is a statement, the likes of which we haven't heard in probably 7 years. I mean, when's the last time that we've heard a song that just hits this hard?
Walk me home in the dead of night. 'Cause I can't be alone with all that's on my mind.
It gives me chills every time I hear it. And even though this song is about a romantic couple, this song takes me back to my high school years. where after spending a whole day with my best friends, we would all walk down to this one street corner in my village where we all had to part ways to get home. We'd walk there and then we'd spend hours standing on that corner in the dark just talking about nonsense.
'Cause there is so much wrong going on outside.
It was a simpler time for all of us, and I can clearly envision that street corner with those people every time I hear this song. I had this song as my number one for such a long time. I loved it. I absolutely adored this song. But there is another song that came out that just edged it out. But that doesn't change the fact that this song is a masterpiece in my book. Walk Me Home by Pink is truly an amazing piece of music.
Going on outside.
And now, before we get to the number one best song of the year, a few honorable mentions that just missed the cut, but trust me, these songs were really hard to cut, and I labored for days on which songs were gonna get on this list. But here we go, let's talk about some honorable mentions.
Can we just talk? Can we just talk?
I like this song. I don't think it's Khalid's best work, but I like the message that taking things slow and just talking and communicating with your partner is important to establishing a lasting relationship. And I also think that Khalid is an amazing singer and songwriter, and we need to keep him around for as long as he will have us.
100 bands in my pocket, it's on me. Yeah, your grandma probably know me.
This song just got edged out for the number 10 slot. I'm no fan of Post Malone, but he's at his best, I believe, when he just lets loose and has some fun like he does on this song, instead of the taking himself way too seriously sad boy shtick that got him popular. Although that Dak Prescott line,
Last call, Hail Mary, Prescott touchdown,
yeah, that didn't age too well, did it?
So you're a tough guy, like you really rough guy. Just can't get enough guy, just always so puff guy.
I talked in my intro to this video how 2019 brought around a fresh new crop of talent, and Billie Eilish was definitely one of the bigger names of the new up-and-comers. She had a major breakout year, landing a ton of hits, and of all the hits that she landed, Bad Guy is my favorite. It was locked in a dogfight with Wow and Tequila for the 10 spot. And while it just missed the cut, I respect this song for being experimental and daring to be different in a day where most music pretty much just follows the same exact formula. And Billie's personality is what makes this song work for me. She isn't exactly stretching her vocal range or anything like that, but her tone and delivery really nails the character that she's going for on this song. Billie Eilish is what I imagine Ava Max is singing about on Sweet But Psycho.
I do my hair talk, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling?
This is a good song that didn't make the Billboard list, but I wanted to highlight it here. It basically just proves my point that Lizzo is a talented singer who had the absolute wrong song get big for her. I highlight this song on the list because it basically gets right what Truth Hurts got so disastrously wrong. It's an empowering self-care anthem about getting over a man who didn't treat you right, but without any of the ugly mean-spiritedness that made Truth Hurts so unlistenable.
Cause we don't love you anymore. So walk your fine ass out the door.
This song will probably make next year's Billboard year-end list with all the radio play that this song is currently getting, but for now it deserves recognition.
Both break down tonight, and you say you hate me, and we go to bed angry.
This is another song that missed the year-end Hot 100, but it got enough radio play on my local stations that I felt comfortable highlighting it here as an honorable mention. I'll admit this song has grown on me since I first heard it on The Search, NF's latest album, and I actually think this song plays better outside of the context of that record as a standalone track. It's a little samey sounding, but the sincerity and the raw emotion that NF delivers his lines with really puts this song over the top for me. I can't believe this song made the year-end list. What the hell? Okay, that's enough of the honorable mentions. Now let's get down to what I think is the best hit song of 2019.
I got one thing right. You got one thing right.
Number 1.
I I got you. I got one thing right.
Now, any of you who know me personally probably know what's coming here. And if you don't know, then you're probably going to hate me and my channel. But I don't care, because this was my favorite song of the year. This was the one song all year that every time it came up on the radio, it never failed to excite me. I would get majorly pumped whenever this song came on, whether it be at parties or on the radio driving into work. This was the song that every time I heard it, I just got so excited. I made Old Town Road my #1 song of the year. Why? Because I can! That's why.
I got the horses in the back, horse stock is attached. Head is matted black, got the bushes black to match.
Old Town Road wasn't just a song to me, it was a year-long experience. From the endless assembly line of remixes, to the controversy it generated, to the fact that it shattered the Billboard record for longest uninterrupted run at the #1 spot. This song was a phenomenon the likes of which we haven't seen since 2013, and it is by far, without question, the biggest thing to happen to music in the last 5 years, at least. I credit this song for making music in 2019 feel like it mattered again, after so many consecutive years of just bland, boring, unthreatening music, supplemented by scandals, criminal cases, and tragic untimely deaths. And that's not even reviewing the song itself. I've already talked about in previous videos the story behind it.
I'm gonna take my horse to the Old Town Road. I'm gonna ride till I can't no more.
How Lil Nas X dropped out of college, had nowhere to live, so he just wrote a song about taking a horse on an old town road and just riding away from all of his troubles. And riding his way into possibly the biggest song of the decade.
Baby's got a habit, diamond rings and Fendi sports bras. Riding down Rodeo in my Maserati sports car.
And the inclusion of Billy Ray Cyrus in the first remix really helps round out the song and makes it feel more like a complete work, where the original version just felt a little more half-baked and unfinished.
Can't nobody tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing. Can't nobody tell me nothing.
I said earlier in this video that this year was just full of surprises, and I don't think there was any bigger surprise in this year than a rapper sampling a 9 Inch Nails song to make a country song to create the biggest song of the year. And that is why it is my favorite song of 2019. I got the horses in the back, horse tank is attached.